Hey everyone, Dr. Crawford here for another round of TOAH Talk Tuesday. Today I'm going to cover some basic signs that your cat or dog might be sick and needs to be seen by a veterinarian. I'm going to start up here with our head and work our way down through the rest of the body systems. To begin with the eyes, if you ever feel like your animal is painful in one of their eyes, they might be holding it closed or it might be red. If you notice any extra discharge, whether it's really watery, if it's white or green colored, especially if you see some nasal discharge with that as well, those are things we're going to want to get checked out. Of course, if your animal is shaking their head around or scratching at their ears, those are the biggest signs that we see with ear infections. You might also notice some extra discharge coming from the ears or a really bad smell. With bad smells, you might also get bad smells from the mouth. Dental health is really important in our animals. We have a whole other video on that. But just to cover the basics, of course, if you feel like there's a lot of tartar building up on the teeth, we might want to consider a dental cleaning. Also, if you ever feel like your animal is having difficulty eating, or if there's any swellings or masses in and around the mouth, we definitely want to get those checked out pretty quickly. Moving on to our musculoskeletal and neurologic systems. Main things that we see is usually some difficulty walking, whether that's limping on a leg, that could be due to a bone or soft tissue injury, or if we have some weakness, or ataxia, which is uncoordination. Those are things that we might consider be a neurologic problem. Along with other neurologic problems, our biggest concern, of course, is seizures. If you ever feel like your animal has had a seizure, they lose consciousness, they defecate and urinate, and they sort of tremble with their legs for a few minutes, we're going to want to get them to a vet right afterwards, make sure that they're okay. You can also confuse a seizure with something that we call syncope, which is actually a fainting episode, and it's more related to the heart and lungs. So that's something you're also going to want to discuss with your veterinarian. With our heart and lungs, other things that we consider, if your animal ever has more coughing than normal, especially if it's at nighttime, if you feel like they're having difficulty breathing for whatever reason, or especially if they're ever in respiratory distress, they should be seen by a veterinarian immediately. Moving on to our GI system, of course, the most common things that we see are inappetence, vomiting, and diarrhea. Other changes, though, that we might also see is an increase in appetite, which can be signs of some sort of systemic disease, or changes with going to the bathroom. In cats that are older, sometimes overweight, we get concerned about constipation, but we could also be misinterpreting difficulty going to the bathroom related to urination as well. If you ever think that your animal is having difficulty urinating, whether they go outside multiple times in a day, they're straining, if there's ever blood in the urine, those are signs of urinary tract infections, and we're always going to want to get those treated. Make sure there aren't any underlying issues there as well, like masses or crystals or stones. Lastly, with our skin, if an animal is really itchy for whatever reason, there could be lots of different causes. Fleas is a big one, allergies is our second biggest, and where your animal is licking is important to figure out what might be going on with them. Of course, if they're scooting along the ground, they might also have an issue with their anal glands. So these are all things that we're going to want to get looked at. In the end, you know your animal the best. You know if something's changed with their routine or their lifestyle, things that you are concerned about, and that is what we're here for. We're here to help you and figure out what's going on. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us, but these are just a few basic signs that we want you guys to know about and things that we see most commonly. Thank you for watching this TOAH Talk Tuesday, and we look forward to seeing you next week.